Hey Canucks fans, would you call the Canucks a tough team to play against? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Thursday, October the 17th. It is game day. The Vancouver Canucks go into St. Louis to take on I don't know, my voice cracked there. They go into St. Louis to take on, maybe I'm excited, the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. And it's the first early game, so to speak. You know, the Canucks have played at home 3 times, and then the 2 Alberta games were done at 7 p.m. our time. So this is the first early game. It's a 5 p.m. puck drop, so I'll be rushing home from work to be able to watch the game, then do my quick post-game vlog, and then get out to watch Jacob play in his senior boys volleyball game. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about tonight's game, a good test for the Vancouver Canucks. No, they haven't played really, really strong teams yet. They've played LA and Philly, not bad. Detroit's not supposed to be that good. Calgary, Edmonton. Calgary's good. Edmonton, hot start, but I don't think that will last. But this is obviously a very, very good test for the Canucks, especially as they start off a 4-game road trip as well. So the Canucks are 3-2, and we know a lot about their opponent. We saw them play all the way until the middle of June last year in winning the Stanley Cup. And you could say that the St. Louis Blues were a tough team. And we know that because that final against Boston, they're tough, they're gritty. It was a tough series, and obviously St. Louis still had a lot of skill as well. So it led to a really good conversation this morning on Halford and Bruff on TSN 1040, and they were talking about the difference between being a tough team and being a tough to play against team. And they talked about how they are 2 distinct things, but they're obviously very related, right? If you're a tough team, that could make you tough to play against. And if you're tough to play against, that may or may not mean that you're tough. So you can see how they're related, but they are not exactly, so they're not mutually exclusive, but they don't have to be the same thing either. And I guess the general consensus was that you'd rather be, if you had to pick one, you'd rather be a team that's tough to play against as opposed to tough. Because tough kind of connotates, a bunch of bruisers, a bunch of guys like Ryan Reeves or Donald Brashear or George Larocque or Tom Wilson, who Tom Wilson's got a lot of skill. But you know what I mean? Like, tough kind of connotates that a bunch of fighters, a bunch of guys that will check you through the boards, and not necessarily the most skilled or the best skaters or the toughest to play against. However, you could see, and we talked about this, the Vancouver versus Detroit from Tuesday night, the Canucks showed that they were relatively tough. They stood up for one another, and they're punching guys, headlocking guys, tackling guys, and that was kind of cool to see, right? We don't see that a lot from the Vancouver Canucks. But I think you'd agree with me that you'd rather be tough to play against. And that, like I said, can include elements of tough, but tough to play against means the opponent will come out of there saying, man, that was a difficult game because we're tired and we didn't get to do what we wanted to, and they made it difficult on us to play our game. And when you think of tough to play against, I think of a team like Vegas because they are so fast, right? They just come at you in waves. They're relentless, and they make it very difficult. And we saw that anytime they came into Vancouver last year, is the Vancouver Canucks were skated out of the arena. Now, I think the Canucks are much better, equipped to play against a team like Vegas this year with guys like Miller and Ferland and improvements of Besser and Pettersson and Quinn Hughes and Myers pushing from the back end. But that's what I think. When you think of Vegas, you don't think, oh, they're tough because they're going to pummel you, except for Ryan Reeves. But you think of, man, they're tough to play against because they're going to skate us, in the ice, into the ground, so to speak. So I think of Vegas as a team that's tough to play against, and you think of guys like Mark Stone, who aren't the biggest guys, but they're tenacious. They're like a dog on a bone when it comes to going after the puck. So that's, who I kind of hold, and I think St. Louis is a bit of both. They're tough in that they play a tough style, but they're also tough to play against because they are so skilled with guys like Tarasenko, up front, and Ryan O'Reilly, and the skill they have throughout their lineup and the blue line, and of course their goaltender as well. So I think it's going to be a great test for the Canucks tonight, but I do say that the Canucks are more tough to play against than tough, and that's because of guys like JT Miller, in the forecheck, great playmaker but bigger body. Tanner Pearson, even a bigger body. Horvat is very tough to play against. I did it again. Pettersson and Besser, they are tough to play against because they're tough to check and they have the puck on their sticks a lot. Michael Ferland can be tough to play against. We're still waiting to see that. Josh Levo can be, and Brandon Sutter, Jay Beagle. Our fourth line was very tough to play against for the Detroit Red Wings on Tuesday night. That line of Beagle, Schaller, and Tyler Mott in his return. So Jake Virtanen can be tough to play against if once he gets going as well. So there are a lot of players that individually and collectively can make the Vancouver Canucks tough to play against, and I think that's good. And I think I'd rather have tough to play against over tough. But, you know, a little bit of both. A little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Nothing wrong with that either. So Canucks fans, let me know what you think, especially heading into this game against St. Louis tonight. Would you call the Vancouver Canucks tough to play against? And if so, who fits that mold for you? Would you call the Vancouver Canucks tough? And if so, who fits that mold for you? And really, bottom line is do the Canucks have a bit of both? And do they have enough to make it difficult on other teams this season? Would love to know what you think. Let's create some discussion down below in the comments section. Leave a comment below. I'll read, react, and reply as always. And yeah, really interested in your thoughts on this. Subscribe if you like to like this video. If you like to enjoy the day, enjoy the game. Canucks and Blues, 5 o'clock start from St. Louis. God bless. Go Canucks, go.